It's been an absolutely exceptional, exciting and electric day, Kathy. Starting out in the north of Gauteng in Pretoria, thousands are lining the streets. The team then went over through to the Union buildings. An exciting day indeed. At least that was the start of the day. And that just goes to show that even though and I had mentioned this to Stephen earlier on, that even though it is a work day, thousands lined the streets, even though it was a school day, people still had come out to see the Springboks with the William Webb Ellis trophy, with that unprecedented fourth trophy as well. And then just in the gap between the Johannesburg leg, they also made a stop through to the MTN headquarters, also an exciting ceremony which they had over there. Coming out of that particular day, coming out from that particular event, MTN had pledged 30 million rand to the South African Rugby Union to invest into local rugby development as well. So that just goes to show that the Springboks winning the World Cup wasn't necessarily just a success for them and for the country, but for those wanting to perhaps get into the structures at a grassroots level. And then Vuyo out here right next to me, you would know him from your screens as well. You are out in the city of Johannesburg. Yep. Vuyo, must have been an absolutely exciting day from Jan Smuts Avenue at the Macoba School all the way through to the greater city of Joburg.
Definitely, I think, Ahmed, the beauty that we've been seeing throughout the World Cup is just the number of supports that the Springboks have been getting, but also from the young ones that have been on social media throughout, pushing their support for the Springboks while they were playing in France. And we saw that today. I mean, I was at the Macoba school in Parktown, and it wasn't just that school. I mean, we had the ladies' school just across the street. We had the Parktown boys who had come in with a band and just got their street very, very crazy as they were waiting for their champions to come in. So you're kind of seeing the level of support that the Springboks have been getting from the youngins to the older people, that when we went past Vilakazi Street, especially by the Hector Peterson Memorial, we're seeing older people that were outside on the street pushing their support for the Springboks, celebrating the Springboks for what they've done here in South Africa. So Macoba is also a school that, of course, the Springboks had been there in 2019. I did elaborate earlier on. There was a picture that was taken of a young kid, Ulebu Mohoma, when Siyakolisi had just signed his rugby shoes and his ball, and Cheslin Kobe as well. That same boy, Siyakolisi, took him to one of the award sessions in Hyde Park for him to go and receive Cheslin's award on his behalf. So it must have been a huge moment, because I even spoke to Lebu this morning. He's back at home in KwaMhlanga in Mpumalanga, just reflecting with him in terms of what that day meant to him, though he matriculated last year, so he couldn't be at the school. So it's just what it means to the youngins, what it means when the Springboks say that we not just uniting the country, but Siyakolisi keeps saying that we are inspiring the young ones. And he is just a mere example. And some of the examples that we kept seeing today of the young kids on the street who say today, I feel like anything can be possible in this country. The Boks have done it. I can also do it. Or more than anything else, even in the township of Soweto, kids saying, I can actually make it into a Boks squad, especially when they look at the makeup of the Boks team that Rassie Erasmus assembled, when he's looking in terms of color. Any other kid now back in the township can say, I can make it. Siyakolisi from Zwide can make it. There's a Makazole Mapimpi in the team. So that diversity is what we speak about. We speak about unity today. So those were the things that kept going on from this morning, even throughout the day. And as even when we went through, like I said, Vilakazi Street today, it was just exciting to see the number of people that have just come in support. And now here at the FNB Stadium, it was just so much.
Yeah, very much.
So much.
Yeah, definitely. And Kathy, as we'll bring you back into the conversation, the electricity had started out from around midday or so. People started making their way into the stadium. Initially, we thought it was for the Soweto Marathon, which is going to be taking place. Once we entered the main stadium complex, there were sporadic people in and around the west end of the stands over here. And then as we approached around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and as the team made its way through the greater CBD and through Vilakazi Street and Soweto, that's when the electricity and the energy really kicked off, and people were out here celebrating, waiting for the Springboks for hours on end. The entertainment was absolutely exceptional. Miss South Africa was out here. The fact that we had the Johannesburg mayor who welcomed the team into his city, really exciting exciting, really very excited at the fact that the team was coming through. The colors, the electricity, and like we said in Pretoria, it was a working day, it was a school day, but we had seen people from all races, for all age groups as well. So clearly a few people may have been sending in a few sick notes, or will be needing a few sick notes heading into the office tomorrow. But we had spoken to the Johannesburg mayor earlier, and he said that, he hopes that this victory will show that young South Africans and young residents of Johannesburg do have a future in rugby, and that's, I think, exceptionally important. When the players had come onto the field, and those were really exciting times, this stadium absolutely exploded with noise. When the players had come onto the field, it was, raptures of noise and excitement and celebrations, singing and screaming. And when we had thankfully managed to speak to a few of the players, I think key person who we managed to speak to, apart from coach Jacques Nienaba, who will obviously get those bites throughout later this evening. But Makazole Mapimpi, unfortunately, his campaign came to an end prematurely due to that eye socket injury. But he says, being a player of colour, coming down from the Eastern Cape, having won the World Cup twice now for him, he sees this now as motivation and inspiration for the young generation of tomorrow, who will be replacing him at some point in time in the team, to know that celebrations like this is not just for the team, 30-man squad and the backroom staff, a team of 50 people winning a World Cup for the fourth time in South Africa's history, and probably his second time successively, but also looking at the fact that this is going to motivate and unite the entire nation, not just going forward right now, but probably into the next few years and potentially decades as well.
Yeah, I mean, we stand here at the FNB Stadium. I mean, it's the relationship with this place and rugby. We take it back to the Boks test that they've played with the New Zealand back in 2010 and 2011. We also played a Boks test in 2013 against Argentina, which was here at the FNB Stadium. We're supposed to play that British and Irish Lions test, but COVID-19 of course came through and we couldn't play that one. So this place is one that the Springboks have come to. It's something that has been a relationship with the Springboks as well, but also a place where football is also taking place here. And one of the things that have come through for this week, especially and without pressure, has been that of a Bafana team to say we are hoping that our national teams will be able to pick it up from this, with Bafana, of course, going to the AFCON in January as well, with Proteas now who are sort of getting closer to that semi-final berth in India as well. But of course, it's exciting for the stage, not just inspiring the group, but also inspiring our national teams here at home.
Definitely. So indeed, so there you have it, Kathy, just a wrap of what we had seen in Gauteng, Pretoria, Johannesburg, and now out in Soweto at the FNB Stadium. The tour will be resuming tomorrow in Cape Town.